What's the third try? I don't know what is wrong with my audio. I always seem to have to start once or twice and keep flicking that damn thing. But disappointing, no contest. I'm sort of fed up with the contest. The only time any of those people communicate with me is during a contest. Wow. Uh, but we got a few issues here. Obviously, the Iranian issue is going to pushing us closer and closer to someone making a decision. Obama, the only thing he's doing reasonably is he's still talking. He hasn't issued any order for a strike yet. But make no mistake that in cahoots with the Israelis, there will sooner probably than later, at the latest, I presume. Uh, uh, Maybe towards the end of May at the latest. There will be some kind of an attempt to make a resolution with bombs from the Israelis if we don't, to settle the Iranian nuclear affair. Now the Iranians have every right, as far as I can see it, to have nuclear bombs. We've talked about this before. The Israelis think they have a right to bomb, to kill, to maim, to starve, to do assassinations, to travel around the world and eliminate anybody they feel is a threat, either just verbally or economically or physically to Israel. And they go around and kill people, and they call it a defensive action. Right. Anybody else kills people, it's pretty offensive to me. So what can we do about it? We can do absolutely nothing. That we are the president and the Republican candidates have all sucked up to the Israeli lobby so hard that they can't hardly breathe without permission from the Knesset. I have never seen a smaller group of people cause more harm and chaos in the world than these Zionists. And it's not enough that they are starving and crippling 1.5 million in the Gaza Strip, that they won't even allow medical aid to come in there. It's not enough that they have taken every drop of usable fresh water and given it to the settlers on the West Bank. Listen, they're not going to annex the West Bank, because then everybody would demand that the Arabs had a vote. And if that was the case, then the few Arabs that are left inside of Israel itself and the Arabs in the West Bank would Israel could no longer be a theocracy. It might actually absolutely turn into a democracy, and Israel's not about to become a democracy. That the Arabs would outvote the Israelis. So what do? You starve them out, you chase them out, you kill them out. You take their land, you take their homes and bulldoze them and then build fancy new homes in their place. And you just encourage more and more settlers. You ask more and more Jews from around the world to come move into Israel, so you have more and more numbers of Jews, so that you're guaranteed that the vote will go in the direction you intended to. This is not a democracy. It has never been a democracy. It was never intended to be a democracy. Since the Irgun started assassinating and blowing people up in the 1930s, that this has been a terroristic state. But the problem now is that this little group of terrorists, they call themselves Israelis, uh, that they could lead us down the road to a great and terrible catastrophe, either a total economic depression worldwide if the Straits of Hormuz get involved and they get closed off, which I think, we have tried to literally strangle the country of Iran. We have we've tried to confiscate their foreign bank assets. We've tried to cut off all in and out importation and exportation. We've tried to strangle this country, and we cannot figure out, well, why are they upset with us? Why do they want to bomb when Israel has 100 of them, and that would be enough to keep the peace in the Middle East? Well, it keeps it under a reign of terror in the Middle East. This country, Israel, has not gotten along with their neighbors in 4,500 years. It's almost like Israel couldn't exist unless they were bothering somebody pushing on somebody, killing somebody, murdering somebody. It's obscene what this country has done to the world, and they're going to continue, and it's going to be more and more costly as long as they have the might of the American war machinery behind them, and that's what they have. Our foreign policy isn't dictated by us; it's dictated by a Jewish and media controlled uh, lobby in this country. You can't get honest news in this country. Yeah, the only honest news is what you're looking at now, not from me, but on YouTube and on Facebook. This is the only place you get real news, and then those things are squashed in a hurry. You hear many, many stories. You hear them once, and bam, they're knocked right out of existence. How would you like it? Well, I don't know how you'd like it, but we're going to have to like it. When they have drones flying over us, if our airspace was violated just once, we'd be at a state of war. But yet we violate their airspace continuously, probably on a 24-hour-a-day basis. It's incredible what we, as a country, and that's you and me. This is our country supposedly, that we have no say in it. The 1%, the military-industrial complex, the bankers, they own and control this country, and they're going to keep you down as long as you are in debt to somebody. They control you, and that's their whole goal, is to keep you in debt up to your ass. So it's all you can worry about is holding down two jobs just so you can feed your kids. And if Newt Gingrich had his way, you wouldn't. It'd be your kids feeding you. He wants to do away with minimum wage, and he wants to do away with child labor laws. So your 10-year-old kid could take your job that you're probably making $20 an hour at, and getting benefits, and he could take the job for $5 an hour with no benefits. Now, how's anybody going to survive like that? How's our society going to survive like that? But yet the Wall Streeters, because they control the PACs and they control the money, and believe me, Obama's taking just as much money as the Republicans, that they are never going to be threatened, never with prosecution, never, never with any limit to how much they can gouge out of the American public. It won't be resolved until there's blood in the streets. And it's terrible to say that, because I saw what happened in the 60s and how close we come to blood in the streets. There was some blood. There was some blood at Jackson State. There was some blood at Kent State. And there was blood, a lot of blood, flowing in the streets of Chicago at the 68 convention. But until we reach that stage, and you don't even listen, the Occupy Wall Streeters, they're still out there, but you don't see them on the news anymore. I heard commentators talking the other night about the three GOP candidates. They take Ron Paul and they just set him aside as though he doesn't exist. Now, Ron Paul, to me, is a total nutcase. I love his foreign policy, and I love what he'd do with the military. But other than that, that if you get sick, you're on your own. Your education system, it's on its own. It's left up to the individual communities, and all the Bible thumpers in the South. Anybody lives in the South might as well just say, well, let's just pass the Bible around, and we'll do like they do in the Madras. We'll just they teach the Quran, we'll just teach the Bible, and that'll answer all problems in the world. Listen, they are nutcases, and it's nothing but a bunch of nutcases that are running this country. But they run it, as I said, for the military-industrial complex, and they run it for the big oil, and anybody with a lot of money. And what do they do to create jobs? They invent something here, and then have it made overseas. You think these iPods are made in this country? No. There was a guy on there that was advertising T-shirts made in the USA. Well, the T-shirts were made overseas, and the only thing that was made in the USA is where they ironed on the statement that this was made in the USA, and that's what they're trying to pull on us right and left. But we cannot get involved in this Iranian affair. They will shut the Straits of Hormuz. They will bring about $200 oil. They'll bring about $8 gas, and they will cripple the economy of the world. And don't blame it on the Iranians. All they want to do is be left alone, and we don't have the capacity or the intelligence to leave people alone. And until we do, we're edging closer and closer to a catastrophe, and whether it be just economic, which is bad enough, I doubt it. It will be economic and military. Thank you for your time.